let's talk facts. The Avengers are not coming.
Hi everyone, welcome back to Filmy Fool. Another weekend, another new release. And this week we are talking about a Marvel film for a change. It's been a while since I've actually made the effort of going to the theaters for a Marvel film. The last couple of films I haven't really bothered. The last film that I enjoyed from Marvel in the theaters was actually Guardians of Galaxy Volume 3. I am talking about Thunderbolts. This is what I thought about it.
And you are gonna help me stop it.
Wait, us?
Yeah, you. Why?
Thunderbolt continues the Marvel Cinematic Universe and takes over from where the last Captain America left off. Like I said, I did not bother to go watch that film in the theaters. I am not curious about it at all, but I can tell you there is one reference in this film from Captain America, Brave New World. That's one of the key aspects that is most enjoyable about Thunderbolts. You can enjoy it as a standalone film, does not impact the viewing experience. If you have seen at least the first Avengers, then you will get certain references. That's because there is some bit of throwback that's weaved into the narrative, from the Chitauri handcuffs to an iconic landmark. It'll help if you have seen Black Widow. It'll help if you've seen Ant-Man and the Wasp. Basically, what I'm trying to say is that there are bits and pieces from the Marvel Cinematic Universe that have trickled down to Thunderbolts, but not necessarily the last couple of films, which were awful. Now that we've got that out of the way, let's get down to the actual film. How does Thunderbolts hold as a film on its own? Like I said, it is a good film on its own. I really enjoyed the film start to finish.
So none of us comply? So what, do we all just punch and shoot?
It's taken Marvel a while to come back to writing like this because it's easier when the audience can relate and feel connected to the characters. It's very difficult to do this if you do not feel connected to the characters, if you have no emotion towards the characters. And that's been the struggle for Marvel right throughout. Like I said, the last good film was Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3 because we knew the characters, we knew who we were rooting for. Similarly for Spider-Man, there was nostalgia, there was emotional connect. What this film does, in spite of not having that strong emotional connect with the characters, it is still able to weave in a lot of depth and a lot of layering to the narrative. A lot of credit goes for this to the portrayal that you see on screen. While the writing is good, but Florence Pugh is outstanding. She is such a fantastic actor. I wanted to come to Florence Pugh a little later, but now that I've gone into it, let me just go down and say it. In a superhero film, she brings such considerable depth, beautiful emotional portrayal of Yelena and the struggle that she's going through. It is fantastic to watch. Going back to story that I was talking about, sorry about the tangent to Florence Pugh, but when you watch it, you'll realize why I just slipped. Thunderbolts is the story of unlikely heroes. Most of these guys are rejects from wherever they were. That's why I said it'll be good for you to catch some of these films and TV shows that these characters individually appeared in over the last few years.
Bring light from the darkness.
Situation demands that come together. It's somewhat like Suicide Squad from DC, but that is a more orchestrated band of people coming together and mostly supervillains coming together. These are not supervillains, but still grey characters, if I can call them that. First half is breezy and it ends with a couple of bang-on action sequences that I really loved. Second half moves into a slightly more emotional side and you get to see the struggle that some of these people are going through. It is very nice to watch and it is heartwarming to see that kind of depth in writing. The climax is also really well written and it's a refreshing change from the big bang blowouts that you are used to seeing from superhero films. And I really like that because this is a character driven storyline, and because of that, the climax is also keeping all of that in mind. Full marks to Marvel for that.
I can't think of a worse group of people trying to work together.
Moving on to the action, the overall cinematography and the direction. I enjoyed the first action sequence with Florence Pugh when she enters, and that's really at the very start of the film. There is a top view action sequence, corridor scene, and those have been done time and again now. But in spite of that, the way this has been executed was really nice with a lot of finesse, and the way the lighting is used in this top shot is very good. I really enjoyed that bit. Apart from that, I've already given a glimpse of the action sequence that happens right before the interval. That's Bucky coming in, and I really enjoyed that. There was a lot of hooting going on, so that was really good. The entire sequence leading up to the climax, the last 30 minutes are so breezy and very enjoyable.
That can raise to glory.
The second half is where things get more complex, and hence there is a lot riding on the director's vision for how he wants to execute this and show this on screen. There is a show that I want to tip my hat to because it reminded me of that show, and that show possibly did it even better than this film, but that was many years ago, and I think the approach of that show was not so mainstream. I'm talking about a show called Legion that was done by FX, if I'm not wrong, maybe 10 years ago, something like that. It was a show based on the X-Men universe. It was fantastic because it also dealt with some similar themes. There were aspects of mental illness, there were aspects of multiple personalities, and all of those themes are things that you will find in Thunderbolts as well. But the highlight for me was how this show tackles the turmoil that's going on with somebody inside them.
Everyone here has done bad things. You can't escape the past.
Like I said, all of these guys are rejects, and hence they have their own struggles. Each of them is dealing with personal issues and they are not able to do anything about them. This film also talks about how one of the ways to move forward and not eradicate. It is very clear when it makes this statement through Florence Pugh's character Yelena. This is not how you eradicate. This is not how you cure yourself. This is not how suddenly everything is going to be fine. This is how you move forward. This is how it becomes slightly easier, is by being around people who have your back, talking to them, talking about your struggles, talking about what's making it so difficult for you. Just the fact that a mainstream summer blockbuster by the behemoth Disney Marvel chooses to talk about the struggles that go on with people who are slightly aloof, who are not doing well, who may be questioning their existence, who may be questioning their time here, who may be questioning their overall life, is so beautiful to watch. So, been a very long time since I've done this. Marvel and Disney, well done. This was very nice to see. I did not think it would come from you. I did not think that it would come at a time like this. This makes it for such a perfect surprise.
This could get messy.
No shit. You thought you were gonna be some great saviors?
So the second half deals with this depiction, the fact that it has to portray what's going on in somebody's mind, horrors that people have to deal with or relive again, and it does this extremely well. I quoted Legion because I thought it was a lot more complex. Whatever you see in Thunderbolts, in Legion, it was tenfold. That's how complex that show was, that's how complex that character was, and hence it was that much more difficult. But like I said, this is mainstream, so they've chosen a more mainstream approach for it, but yet they haven't really compromised. That is why I'm tipping my hat to Marvel and Disney. The direction here is beautiful. The way it moves through these layers and comes out at the end is very nice to watch. Sebastian Stan is a fabulous actor but doesn't really get much to do here. I thought it was one of the drawbacks of this film, or one of the things that I didn't really enjoy. It was a slightly half-baked written approach to Sebastian Stan's character, the Winter Soldier or Bucky Barnes. I thought it could have been better, but barring that, Florence Pugh is fabulous. I've already spoken about that. She lights up every scene she is in. She is that good. Whether she's having a hard time or she's having a ball, in both cases, Florence Pugh is unmatched. The only other person who comes remotely close to this is Lewis Pullman, who plays Robert or Bob. He is also extremely good and does a fine job of playing one of the most complex characters in this film. His depiction is extremely good, especially the complications and the layers that he needs to bring out in front of the audience. So I really enjoyed his performance as well. I thought he brought a earnest performance, a sense of relatability to the character that he was playing, and he was able to move in and out of that. I thought it was extremely well done. One of the nicer introductions of a new character in Marvel. I really enjoyed his performance here.
You can't even save yourself.
If you look at it as a whole, there are so many reasons for liking Thunderbolts. There are so many ways in which it's different from a lot of superhero films, a lot of Marvel films, in fact, and that is possibly why I enjoyed it so much. It was just a good film. I had a good time at the cinemas. It is a summer blockbuster at the end of the day, and I'm really glad that it has substance, because summer blockbusters over the years have gone to a point where you take up your popcorn, you continue eating them, and that is the most exciting part about watching the film. This was not like that, and I'm really glad about that. I would really recommend Thunderbolts if you're looking for a good time at the cinemas. If you have been a follower of the Marvel Cinematic Universe, then this is something that you can watch. How many times do you get to watch a good superhero film, a good action blockbuster in the cinemas? It's been a while. So I definitely suggest that you go ahead and catch Thunderbolts in the cinemas.
We can't do this. No one here is a hero.
if for nothing else, just for Florence Pugh, it is still worth it. She is fantastic in this. And the second highlight of this is the writing, which talks about the struggles that each and every person goes through, whether big or small, whether a superhero or not. All of us have demons inside, and I thought that was portrayed so beautifully. There were a few times where I was definitely emotional, and that goes to talk about just how good the writing was, because these are not characters that I am connected to, unlike the Avengers, and hence to be able to bring out that emotional reaction, the film's writing, the film's performances were extremely good. Thunderbolts is something that I'm recommending. Please go ahead and watch it. If you have seen it, let me know what you think. This is Filmy Fool. Continue to watch this, and guys, like, share and subscribe. Let me know what you thought of Thunderbolts. Let me know what you think of these reviews, and if you'd like my opinions on any specific film or TV show, do put it in the comments and I'll try and talk about those as well. Till then, take care.